Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Vanessa and I am an indie author and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. I write YA, mostly fantasy, sci-fi, and a lot of mystery and paranormal. And so if you are here, then you know that we are at our last video of the plotting series. If you are new here, then make sure you subscribe for other videos, but also make sure you check out all the videos that came before this because we've had 5 other videos in this series where we went through all of the plotting step by step of how I plot my books. Also, there are some free resources for you if you sign up to the resource library, and that link will be in the description. So with all of that out of the way, we are now in the final video. So we're doing the wrap up. We have plotted our books. We've gone through all the different acts. We've prepped our character development. We've done all our preparation work, and we have what we think is a great plot. So what do we do now, right? We could just start writing the book. A lot of times you're very excited and you want to do that. I tend to not do that. I do a couple more small steps that we'll talk about in this video before I get to the actual drafting part. And the first thing I do is I go through the plot, everything I've just went through, and I double check it for obvious holes, right? I go all through all of it and I check if something doesn't work. I check whether there's some weak parts that might not really work too well with the end of the story, because as you're plotting, you're thinking of them and you're kind of like going by beat. But when you have it all together, you have a chance now to kind of step back and take a look at it as a whole and see like, okay, so here I said that my main character is going to do this, but over here they actually ended up doing this instead because that worked with the climax or the midpoint or whatever, right? And so you want to check for things like that, for really big and obvious plot points. And then the other thing that you want to do is you want to go through your plot. If you are into more serious plotting, if you're fine with just having like this kind of skeleton with just the beats and you can start writing from there, that's totally cool too. I like to just kind of beef it up a bit more, where I'll go through and I'll add in some more like in between the beats. Like I might add some more like fun and game stuff, or when the bad guys close in, I might add some more stuff to that. I might beef up my B story a bit more, just add some more notes and journal a little bit more. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to develop your character arcs for all your main characters. Now, this might be a bit like controversial because I do work on my character arcs after I work on my plot. And to a lot of people, that's a no-no. And I will tell you why I do it this way. Because I like to work my character arc based off of the plot, right? So I want my character arc to be driven by the plot. And so after I'm done with the beats of the plot, I go through it and I work my character arc. And so I see based on the plot where they would be on their arc. And then what I do is I double check it against the plot and I fix the plot where the character is lacking. And so if I find, as I'm going through the character arc, and I find that character, like the way that they're reacting, they're feeling here, like is not exactly interesting, it falls flat, or it's not realistic, then I will go back to the plot and I will change the plot so that that character arc makes more sense. So that's why I like to do it after. I do my character development ahead of time. And so I have a rough idea of an arc before I start. But in this part, I really get a more detailed character arc in place because I work it off of the plot. So that's what I like to do. Obviously, that's just something I do. You don't have to do it this way at all. Then what you want to do is, now that you have all this notes and beats and everything, is you want to set up your writing platform, right? So if you use Scrivener, Word, or Google Docs or whatever, you want to set it up with all the scenes that you plotted. You want to make it easy on yourself later. So I use Scrivener. I find it really great. And I'll probably end up doing a video at some point to show you how I set up my Scrivener for writing my draft. But usually in that little note section in Scrivener, I will have my beats, my scenes, kind of on the digital note cards that Scrivener provides you with. And if you don't use that, I mean, you can input them into like Word or Google Docs, but also you can just have your like note cards that you filled out next to you and just kind of want to set up where you want them to be, right? So that you're ready to go, that all your scenes that you plotted, that they're ready to go. And so you have something to reference when you do start drafting. So everything is around you where it should be. And then I highly recommend taking some time away from the plot. Just walking away from it for like a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever you need. Like take some time away from it. And then come back and read through it again, because you'll be surprised like how much stuff you will find as you're walking away in between that time that you might have not thought of. You'll find plot holes. You will find new ideas that you might want to incorporate. You'll find other characters you might want to write into the plot. Your antagonist might change. Your protagonist might change. So a lot of stuff could change when you take some time, let the plot breathe, and then come back to it and look at it again. Or you might get lucky and you might not want to change anything at all. I've had that happen also. And then my last kind of quick little tip for the wrap up is, as much as I love plotting, like I love it, and it makes my life so much easier to know what's going on more or less in the story, to have the bones as I go, always make sure to leave room for discovery writing. So even if it means that you are not married to the plot, or that you left empty spots for yourself, like in your plot it says think of something else here, like that kind of stuff, just leave room for yourself to have the freedom to write. What I usually do is, as I'm writing, I discover things. Obviously, as I'm writing, the characters start to do something. I'm like, oh, you know what, that's actually pretty cool, they should do that. Not that I think, I don't know, a lot of people say, I hear a lot of people say like, my characters have a mind of their own. I don't feel that way, to be honest with you. Like, there's just a personal thing. I create my characters, and I could create them well enough that they feel like they have a mind of their own, but really it's just my mind that they're created out of. So they don't. But at the end of the day, like, stuff might start to happen as you're writing that you didn't plan for, you didn't plot, right? And so you want to leave room for that. And what I usually do is when that happens, I don't stint myself from writing, right? I do it. I keep going where the story wants to go, where I feel the story needs to go when I'm writing it. And then again, I walk away. I give myself a couple of days. I come back and I look at what I've written against the plot. And at this point, I might need to replot either everything or some things. And this is a regular thing that happens to me as I'm writing. I am one of these people who I will write something and then I will edit it, and then I will write some more, and then I will edit and I will write some more. And that's just my process, and that works for me. There's people who can just write through the whole thing and not worry about it, just like there's people who don't plot and people who plot. So it's whatever works for you. But if you are going to be like serious about plotting and you really want to try it out, don't be so serious that you don't give yourself the freedom to be creative, right? Because you might discover some stuff as you're writing, and that creativity that you wouldn't discover as you're plotting. So just make sure, as much as we talked about like beats and scenes and everything, you can hit beats in different ways, right? Like, you should make sure that you're hitting those beats because they're there for a reason, but you can hit them in any way you want, and it doesn't have to be in the way you originally thought you would. And so just make sure that you give yourself freedom to enjoy what you're doing, to enjoy the story, to let the story just kind of creatively flow, because it will. As you write, like, sentences, form other sentences and they piggyback off each other. And so you're going to find yourself in a spot that might be different from what you originally plotted, and it's not the end of the world, and that's fine. And that happens a lot. Just replot or change some stuff out, or then throw that plot out the window and just discovery write the rest of the novel, right? So just give yourself space is what I'm saying. It's not like this should be fun. If you're doing this as a full-time living, yes, it's your job, but it's a creative job, and creative jobs should be creative, right? So you need to leave space for that creativity. So yeah, that's kind of like everything for this plotting series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope if you haven't plotted before that you're considering plotting now or trying it out, or if you have plotted before, that if you plotted in a different way, actually if you plot in a different way, I'd love to hear it. Let me know. I love hearing what other people do and what works for other people. So definitely comment below and let me know how you plot or what you thought of the series in general. And if you're not a plotter and you're going to try it out, definitely let me know as well. And if you have any questions, as always, just ask. I'm always around. I answer them as fast as I can. If you have ideas for other videos you'd like for me to do, then comment those as well. And as always, thank you so much for everybody who watched this video, who watched this whole series, if you watched the series, and just in general, if you've subscribed to the channel. I am so appreciative of everybody who's here. I can't believe that you guys are showing up and enjoying the videos I'm putting out there. It really means just a lot. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys stay magical as always, and I will see you next week. Bye.